halacha. Now, I just want to share with you something very interesting. The question of the wise son has to do with the sacrifice. Now, when we would go to Yerushalayim and when the temple existed, we would make a sacrifice. And in fact, this is in remembrance of the sacrifice that was brought. Yeah, I'll take that in a minute. Was brought in the temple. Now, when we went to the Beit HaMikdash, maybe Amalie or Mayan knows this. Did you have to be tahor? Did you have to be pure, or could you be tameh when you ate the korban? You had to be tahor. What does tahor mean? You had to be ritually pure. You had to go to a mikveh. Now, since you went to the mikveh, you became pure. But what happens if you touched a kli, some sort of a bottle or something that was impure, was not pure? Did you stay pure, or did you become tameh? You became tameh. So in the old days, the one thing that would not become impure was stone vessels. So this is actually a stone vessel that I went to an archaeological dig on the way to This is fascinating. This is a 2,000-year-old piece of pottery, or not pottery. It was made from limestone, and it was a factory near the Temple Mount where they would make stone vessels. Why? Because all the people that were coming to Yerushalayim to eat the korban, they had already gone to the mikveh, and they did not want to become impure. And since if something that was impure touched a plate out of glass, this became tameh. And then if you were to touch it, you were not allowed to eat the korban. So everybody ate from stone.
Because stone
does not become impure. And therefore, this is an original 2,000-year-old piece from a factory.
It's not a copy. Chip.
It's the real McCoy.
Careful you don't chip.
Okay, Andy. Wait. Now's your big. It's the what do you call it?
I just want to say that I'm reading from the Armed Forces of the United States.
There you go.
I apologise for the English.
Page 48. I was debating whether we should call you Prince Andrew or not.
I do not want to be associated.
Okay, but I want to hear the King's English.
Okay.
The Queen's English.
The Queen's English.
Over and over again in ever increasing measure.
Oh, it's beautiful.
we are indebted to Hashem for his countless favours to us. He brought us out of Egypt, passed sentence to their gods, slew their firstborn sons, given us the treasures, split the Red Sea for us, led us safely through and drowned our enemies there, provided our needs for 40 years in the desert, fed us with manna, gave us Sabbath, brought us to Mount Sinai, gave us the Torah, led us to Israel, and built the temple to help us to atone for all our sins.
Okay, very good. No, you don't get off so quickly. Keep going.
Okay.
Rabban Gamliel.
Okay. So Rabbi Gamliel used to say, "He who does not explain the three essentials of the Seder has not discharged his Passover duty."
Okay, now we're going to point to three things on the tray. The first is the leg of the chicken. Oh, I want this. Yes. Wait, I want this. Now I want to explain to you what's special about this. This was made for me today by a Yemenite woman.
It's only for kitniot.
And it's only for people that eat kitniot. The Yemenite custom was to take a sheep. We have a Yemenite. Okay. Rega, tamak piva kitniot or no? Okay, just checking. So this is actually it's got kitniot, but it's from a sheep. So this is a
better reason.
Reminds us of the sacrifice of the Paschal lamb. Keep reading. So the first one, you read it in English?
Okay, Pesach, the Passover sacrifice.
Okay, wait, Pesach is the first one. The next one is the matzah, which is
the unleavened bread.
And the third one is the bitter herb, which is on the tray. Okay, Karen, continue. Now we're going to discuss each of these. Karen, Pesach.
Oh, okay.
Read it in English.
Okay. The Paschal offering.
Yeah.
The Paschal offering which our ancestors ate at the time when the temple was standing, what was its significance? Because the Holy One, blessed be He, passed over the houses of our ancestors in Egypt, as it is said, and ye shall say it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, for that He passed over the houses of all the children of Israel in Egypt. when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshipped.
Very nice.
Can you say that again a little louder?
No. Would you read it in English?
Yeah.
Give it the
Here,
sound
you see
bite.
the life of our fathers in Egypt. They embittered the life of our fathers with forced labor, with mortar and bricks, with every kind of field labor. In all this work, they made them slave unmercifully.
Okay, the next thing I want to read, and I think it's a very important message this year in particular. In every generation, each man has to look at himself as if he personally went out of the land of Egypt. For we are commanded, tell your son in that day that it is because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt. It was not only our forefathers who God saved. He saved us too, for it is written, He took us out of there so that He might bring us home and give us the land as He promised to our fathers. Now, it's very easy for us to be sitting around the table here and talk as if we went out of the land of Egypt. But this year, because of Ukraine, for an example, right? There are many, many people who are truly feel like they're in slavery and they're truly running as if they're in the desert and they don't have enough food to eat. What were we going to say, Tamila?
Benjamin is also fourth Egyptian. His grandfather was kicked out of Egypt and
His
had to leave almost all his belongings there.
So just now, I was taking a flight in the Gulf to Oman. It was late at night. There was almost nobody in the airport, and I'm wearing my kippah always. And a guy comes up to me, speaking to me in English. And he says, he was Jewish. He says, what are you doing here? I said, I'm here. I'm baking matzot. I said, where are you from? He said, I'm from Russia. I said, but you don't sound like you're Russian. You sound English or American. I remember now. He says, yeah, I was just kicked out of Russia. I built my business the last 20 years in Russia. I'm a lawyer. And he's an American or an Englishman. I remember. And he was just kicked out and he lost everything. Right? Hard for us to imagine.
Where was he going?
He was just going to Oman on vacation, but he moved to Dubai because he thought maybe he could create a business with all the Russian money that's trying to get to Dubai now.
Oh, I wanted to show this pretty page. Just this beautifully designed Haggadah has on this spread, because it says each person needs to see himself as if he went out of Egypt.
That's like a
So
mirror.
there's little mirrors, and when you close it, each person in the picture is looking at his own reflection.
And they're drawings of Jews from all different periods of history.
Where's the Haggadah?
It's the Mos
The
Haggadah.
Mos Haggadah. It's a beautiful Haggadah. Beautiful.
Okay, so wait, let me just explain to you what we're up to so everybody knows. We are now about to, we're going to sing this in Hebrew, but...
I want the kids to also be with us in dinner,
Okay, they're going to be in a minute. But the thing is that this is the Hallel, this is the praise that we say. In 2 pages, we're about to start. We'll make the second cup of wine, and then guess what happens? The food.
It's not real food, it's matzah.
Matzah, haroseh.
There's nothing more real than matzah, I'm telling you. Okay, you ready? לפיכך אנחנו חייבים מצה.
When I saw the separation of Cohen and Levi and Yisrael, something hit me. I only remember one Seder at home. I don't